Hi everyone, we will start a new system today. We will discuss the lymphatic system, and this system is also known as the immune system. On the first part, we will do overview of this lymphatic system. Now, what is lymphatic system? This is the collection of cell and biochemical that travels in the lymphatic vessels. And the lymphatic system contains of network of vessels that assist in circulating fluids. So mostly the one that circulate in the lymphatic system is the fluid, and closely associated with the cardiovascular system. The lymphatic system actually will drain to the veins, okay, especially to the vena cava. There are three functions of lymphatic system. The first one is to transport excess interstitial fluid away from the interstitial space and returns it to the bloodstream, to the vein. Okay. And second, absorb lipids from digestive system and transport them to the bloodstream. And these special functions is done by lymphatic capillary. Is called the lacteal. So lacteals is type of capillary for the lymphatic system. Second, third, this is the one that's related to immunity, which is defends the body against diseases and allow human to live in the world with other organisms. So protect us from disease. The term immune system refers to the fact that many cells of the lymphatic system provide both defense against disease and also give permanent immunity against future infections. So sometimes the lymphatic system also known as immune system because it has the ability to provide immunity against future infection. I'm going to learn about the lymphatic pathway. Okay, and it starts from the lymphatic capillaries. And this lymphatic capillary is actually located together with the blood capillaries. Okay, still remember the blood capillaries are made of combinations of arterioles and the venules. Okay? They are located in the organs. So in this capillary, there is also a lymphatic capillary. Okay, so they are located at or on the same location. So look at this. Let's say we see from the bottom part of our body, we have these capillaries over here. Okay, so this is the systemic capillary. The red blood vessels carry nutrient, oxygen. So this is going to be rich blood in artery. Okay, it's become arterioles. So this is arterioles. Okay, and provide the oxygen, nutrients, and other things to the cell. And then the cell will produce the waste product that it will go to these venules. So you see the venule color is blue, so this is gonna be carry poor blood, and the venule will combine to make the vein, and it's become vena cava. Yeah? And this is again carry poor blood. Okay, so this is the systemic capillary, and around that capillary we also have this lymphatic capillary. Okay, so remember again, when the blood carry everything, including the plasma, mostly water. So usually the filtration is, let's say, 10, but the reabsorptions over here is only 9. So where is the one extra fluid? The one extra fluid will be going to this lymphatic capillary. So the lymphatic capillaries will absorb the extra fluid from this systemic capillary and carry them. Okay? So the one that carry the fluids now is called the lymphatic vessel, and it will carry it into the lymph node. In the lymph node, we have a lot of T cell, macrophages that will destroy the foreign molecules like maybe bacteria or viruses. Okay, so the blood vessel that enter into the lymph node, so let's say this one, is called the afferent. Okay? So afferent lymphatic vessels, and the one that out from the lymph node is called the efferent lymphatic vessel. It's go to these veins over here. Okay, it drains the fluid into the vein and finally will enter into the right atrium. Okay, the same thing from the top area, we have the systemic capillaries and also the lymphatic capillary. Okay, will bring the extra fluid to the lymph node, and if this carry foreign materials like bacteria, viruses, then the T cell, the macrophages, our body's defense mechanism over here will kill that foreign materials, and then finally will be drained into this vein. Okay, so again, from the lymphatic vessels, from the lymphatic capillary, it will be carried into the lymphatic vessels and go to the lymph node. It's going to be go to larger lymphatic vessels, and this larger lymphatic vessel then combine together to make what we call the lymphatic trunk, and then many lymphatic trunks will also combine to what we call the lymphatic collecting duct, and this is the last one that will enter into the vein. So mostly will go to the subclavian vein before going to vena cava. Okay, so there are two subclavian veins, which is left and right subclavian vein. So all the lymphatic collecting ducts, okay, will go to whether left or right subclavian veins, and then finally go to the vena cava and go to enter into the right atrium. Okay, so this is the pathway of the lymphatic system. Now we're gonna focus on the lymphatic capillary. Okay, again, remember we have the systemic capillary, where these arterioles combine together to make this systemic capillary, and the blood flow from the red to the blue ones. And then this is a cell. The cell will receive oxygen, and the cell also will produce carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide will go to this vein or venule site. And again, there are extra fluids that will be available in this capillary, and these extra fluids, together with other materials like foreign particles, bacteria maybe, will be absorbed by this lymphatic capillary, and it will be carried into the lymph nodes. Okay, so this is a microscopic close-ended tube. So this is close-ended tube, and then the network will be parallel to the blood capillary, okay, systemic capillary, a very thin wall on the blood vessels. It consists of simple squamous epithelium, so only one thin layer of squamous epithelium. Okay, so the wall of the lymphatic vessel. Tissue, interstitial fluid will enter lymphatic capillary, so enter to this easily. And now the fluid inside here, so outside is called the interstitial fluid. Okay, when it is going inside to the lymphatic vessel, the fluid now is called as a lymph. Okay, so the name of the fluid inside the lymphatic vessel is called the lymph. It's actually coming from the interstitial fluid in the capillaries. And all of this lymphatic capillary will combine into bigger lymphatic vessel that then it will enter into the lymph node. So this is the microscopic picture of lymphatic vessels. Okay. The inner layer is endothelial lining cells in the inside. In the middle layer, there is a smooth cell, smooth muscle. And the outer layer is connective tissue. So this is one layer of endothelial cell. And also, it has valve. Just like vein, it has valve that make this fluid only go one way. So only go this way. It will not going back to the capillary. So it will carry the fluid into the lymph nodes. From the lymph nodes, go to the trunk, go to the lymphatic duct, and finally enter into the subclavian vein. So it's really similar. That's the reason why there is a very low fluid flow inside this lymphatic vessel. So the flowing of this fluid will also help by the muscle contraction. So when we perform exercise, there will be more or faster flowing of fluid inside the lymphatic vessel. Okay. And again, the large vessel will lead to the lymph node, and from the lymph node go to the lymphatic trunk. From the lymphatic trunk go to the lymphatic duct, and lymphatic duct will be end into the subclavian vein. Okay, left and right, and then finally to the vena cava. Okay, lymphatic trunk, this is bigger. This is combination of several lymphatic vessels. And the name is based on the region that they serve. there is lumbar, lymphatic trunk, intestinal, intercostal, bronchomediastinal, subclavian, and jugular lymphatic trunk. And this lymphatic trunk will drain the fluid into the lymphatic collecting duct. Okay, so lymphatic collecting duct, it is bigger. There are two collecting ducts. The first one is called the thoracic duct, and this is actually the main collecting duct. Okay, because it is actually longer and wider, and is drain the majority of the fluid from the body. So this is the main collecting duct. The second collecting duct is the right lymphatic duct. It is smaller, and then it is mostly drains the fluid from the left side, on the right side of our body. Right side, top, okay, top right side of our body. Okay, it's very small lymphatic duct, and it will drain into right subclavian vein. The thoracic duct will drain into left subclavian vein, and then finally these two veins will drain the fluid into the vena cava. Okay, look at this diagram. I'm going to show you the duct first. Okay, look at this bigger duct over here. Okay, so this is the thoracic duct, and if you see this thoracic duct receive blood, the lymphatic vessel from most of the organs in our body. Okay, so from the subclavian trunk, okay, from the lumbar trunk, from the intestinal trunk, okay, and also from this intercostal trunk. We'll go also to this thoracic duct. Now the second one, this is the right lymphatic duct. As you see, it's only received from the right side of our body over here mostly. Okay, from the bronchomediastinal trunk and from the jugular trunk over here. So this is a smaller, okay. This right lymphatic duct is smaller, and the thoracic duct is bigger. And this thoracic duct will drain the fluid into this left subclavian artery. So this one is left subclavian vein, sorry, not artery. Okay? And then the right lymphatic duct will drain the fluid to this side, which is right subclavian vein, and both of them will drain the fluid together with blood to the superior vena cava. Okay, so this is the drains or the pathway of the lymphatic system. Okay, so it's going to be, this one may be easier to see, the difference between the thoracic duct and the right lymphatic duct over here. Okay, as you see, the thoracic duct receive many fluid from part of our body, lower part, and also the left side of our body. So all of them will go to this thoracic duct, and then the thoracic duct will drain to the left subclavian artery over here. And then on the right side, so the right lymphatic duct only receive mostly from the right side of our organs, so on the arms, and it will drain into this right subclavian vein, and finally will go to the superior vena cava. Okay. On the female, there are more lymph vessels around the mammary glands. Okay. So a lot of fluid will be drained from here, and then it will finally go to the right lymphatic duct if it is on the right side. If it is on the left side, it will go to this thoracic duct. Okay, now we follow this pathway. Again, from the lymphatic capillaries, it will absorb extra fluid in the interstitial area, interstitial fluid. And then from this capillary, it will go to afferent lymphatic vessel. This is smaller. And then this afferent lymphatic vessel will drain the fluid into the lymph node. And in the lymph node, okay, there will be T cell, macrophages, that will destroy the foreign materials, including viruses and bacteria. So this is kind of a killing field for some microorganisms. And then from lymph nodes, the efferent lymphatic vessels will be out. Okay, it's going to be bigger than the afferent. And then it will combine into lymphatic trunk. And many lymphatic trunk will combine into collecting duct. And the collecting duct finally will drain the fluid into subclavian vein. Okay, so this is the sequence of lymphatic pathway. Tissue fluid and the limbs. Okay? So lymph is the tissue fluid that located inside the lymphatic vessel. Start from the lymphatic capillary. So the interstitial fluid, okay, which is fluid between cell, okay, is called the interstitial fluid. When it is absorbed by the lymphatic capillary, then the name changes into lymph. Okay? So lymph is actually the interstitial fluid that absorbed by the lymphatic capillary. And the lymph formation, of course, will be depends on the tissue fluid formation, depend on this interstitial fluid. If there are many bacteria or foreign particles in this interstitial fluid, then the lymph will also contain many of these foreign particles or bacteria. The tissue fluid formations, so this is the interstitial fluid. It is based on the capillary blood pressure that filter water and small molecule from the blood plasma. So this is the combinations of the systemic capillary, the artery, the arterioles carry a lot of things into the cell, and some of them will be in the interstitial fluid, making these tissue fluid formations. the resulting tissue fluid will be about the same composition of the blood plasma that enter into this organ, into the capillary. Okay, of course, it's contain water because plasma mostly water. Dissolved nutrient, yeah, the one that is filtered by the plasma, gas, yeah, so oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones. And the exception is that tissue fluid does not contain large plasma protein because this large plasma protein will stay in blood plasma. Okay, and of course, red blood cell. Okay, red blood cell will also stay in the blood plasma. And tissue fluid is the same as tissue plasma plus plasma protein, which is this one is stay in the blood. Okay, and this tissue fluid, then the one that will be absorbed into the lymphatic capillary as a lymph. So the name is become lymph. Okay, now the lymph formation, this is filtration from the plasma normally exceed the reabsorption. So remember again, when the
first, use face recognition to unlock the device. To see personal results on the lock screen, change the allow personal results.
Okay, this is arterioles. Okay, and combined with venules. Okay, and arterioles will push water and many other substances into this space, okay, interstitial fluid. So usually the pressure, the filtration will be higher than, right? And then the venous side will absorb the tissue fluid, including absorbing the waste material from this cells metabolism, and reabsorption usually 10. Okay, so this is filtration. This is reabsorption. Okay, and again, because there are 10 pressure enter into this area and only 9 reabsorb, then there will be 1 extra. Okay, so 1 extra fluid, and this 1 extra fluid will be absorbed by lymphatic vessel, lymphatic capillary. So the one will be entered here. Okay, so this is the formation of lymph. Okay, so the one that enter into this lymphatic capillary is become lymph. Okay, so the net formation over here is the one that will forming the lymph. And this process, okay, prevents what we call the edema. If there is no reabsorption by the lymphatic capillary, then there will be extra water. And this extra water causing the organs to become bigger. And this condition is called the edema. Okay, so if the reabsorption is very slow compared to the filtration, then the organs become bigger because it will fill with the fluid. So this is the functions of the lymphatic vessel, lymphatic system, to reabsorb the extra fluid that is present in this in the organs. Okay, this is an example of edema when a woman has axillary lymph node removed, there will be no reabsorption or no formation of the lymph over here. During the breast cancer surgery, the lymphatic drainage is obstructed from the upper limb, resulting in the edema on the breast. Lymph flow. So the lymph inside the lymphatic vessel has low hydrostatic pressure. This is very similar with vein, low pressure, okay, like the venous blood. Okay? So good lymphatic flow requires help from several mechanisms. Just the same like the vein also need help in order to flow from the organs to the heart. And very similar help is coming from contraction of skeletal muscle. Okay, so when our skeletal muscle active, then the flowing will be faster. And also similar with the vein is also help from the respiration process, okay, respiratory process that create the low pressure in the thorax that will increase the flowing of the lymph and also the veins. Smooth muscles in the larger lymphatic vessel contract to aid in flow of lymphatic the lymph. So there is also contractions of the smooth muscles on the larger lymphatic vessels. Valves in the lymphatic vessel prevent the blood flow. This is the same as the valves in vein. Okay, so vein also have valves that protect the backflow of the blood or the liquid. And because it is helped by the contraction of the skeletal muscles, then lymphatic flows will be higher during physical exercise. This is the same thing with the vein, the venous blood. The flowing also will be higher during the physical exercise. Now we're going to look at this lymphatic capillary. As you see over here, this is one layer of epithelial cell, okay, that make it easy for the fluid to enter into the lymphatic capillary. Okay, so this fluid outside over here is called the interstitial fluid. Okay? And when it is absorbed, it is become lymph. Okay, so now the fluid is called the lymph over here. And then it's going to be flowing into the lymph node. Okay, and then from the lymph node, it's going to be go to the lymph trunk, lymphatic trunk go to the lymphatic duct, and finally drain to the subclavian vein. And this is the one that's related to the functions of immune system. So this lymphatic vessel will deliver the foreign particles into the lymph node. And the lymph node, again, there will be white blood cell like the T cells and macrophages that will destroy these foreign particles. Okay? So this is the functions of the lymphatic system that's related to the immune system. Okay? But there is another functions, okay, like absorption of dietary fat. Okay, this is also done by the lymphatic vessel, and these dietary fats will be delivered to the bloodstream, to the subclavian vein, and return small protein filtered by the blood into the bloodstream. Collection of excess interstitial fluid, okay, and delivery the excess fluid back to the bloodstream. And the valve-like pulse between cells of the lymphatic capillary allow the easy entry in of the tissue fluid. So this is valve over here. between the cell. There is a special valve that will make the fluid enter into the lymphatic capillary easily. Lymphatic tissue and lymphatic organs. Now, lymphatic tissue contains several cell types, including lymphocyte and macrophages. So these are the ones that protect us against disease, against pathogens. Okay, there are several types. The first one is called the mucosa-associated lymphatic tissue, or MALT. This is unencapsulated. This means that it doesn't have capsules. This is the lymphatic tissue that do not have capsule, is not protected by capsule. Usually located in digestive area, respiratory, urinary, and reproductive tract. Tonsil also include in this type of lymphatic tissue, the one that do not have capsule. The tonsil is located in our throat, composed of lymphatic nodules, and patches also include in the MALT over here, the one that do not have capsule. And this is the pair patch usually aggregated in the lymphatic nodules. This aggregation of lymphatic nodules found in the small intestine is usually in the ileum side. Now the lymphatic organs, so this is bigger and it has capsule. It's protected by capsule. Example of lymphatic organs, there are lymph nodes, thymus, and spleen. In some other book, it's also include the red bone marrow. So in other books, if you read other biology book or anatomy and physiology book, they will include the red bone marrow as the one of the lymphatic organs. Okay, so we're gonna learn a little bit about lymphatic organs, the lymph nodes. Okay, so this is real anatomy or structure of lymph nodes from dissection. So this is located in certain part of area. For example, under, in our armpit, for example, we have a lot of lymph nodes. You see this lymph node receive blood, fluid from lymphatic vessel. Okay, so this is a lymphatic vessel. There is also lymphatic vessels over here. If it is going this way, then this lymphatic vessel is going to be called as afferent lymphatic vessel, and then it's going out from the lymph node. It's going to be called the efferent lymphatic vessels. Okay? So lymph nodes are usually bean-shaped, about 2.5 centimeters long, located along the lymphatic vessel, filter pathogens from the lymph. So the function is mainly to filter the foreign materials, including pathogen, contain the lymphocyte, mostly T cell, to attack viruses, bacteria, and parasites. It also contains the macrophages, mostly the one that destroy bacteria and other foreign substances. Maybe damaged cell and cellular debris will be cleaned or destroyed by these macrophages. So macrophages is actually a type of monocyte. It needs to remember type of white blood cell. There is a monocyte. It's become macrophages. Lymph nodes are found in group of chains along the path of the largest lymphatic vessel throughout our body. Major locations of the lymph nodes are in the cervical region. So this is neck area. And the axillary region. So this is armpit area. Okay, supratrochlear region, inguinal region, and pelvic cavity. So inguinal region is the on our legs, okay, and then abdominal cavity and thoracic cavity. It will not found in the central nervous system. So there is no lymph node in the central nervous system. So inguinal region is a groin. Okay, is a groin area. Okay, so the structure, you see this picture. So the fluid is going this way. Okay, going to the lymph node. So this a vessel over here, smaller vessel, is going to be the afferent lymphatic vessel. And inside here, we have macrophages, T cell that will destroy the foreign materials, pathogens, for example, viruses, bacteria, parasites will be destroyed by this white blood cell, macrophages, and T cell. And then the blood that has been processed, that has been filtered, then it will enter into bigger blood vessels. I mean the lymphatic vessel, and this one's going to be called the efferent lymphatic vessel, the one that out from the lymph node. This is under the microscopes, how it look like. Okay, and then this is location. This is cervical on the neck, thoracic lymph node on the chest area. This is in the armpit, okay, axillary lymph node, supratrochlear lymph node, pelvic lymph node, and the inguinal or groin area lymph nodes. So this is the locations of the lymph node. If you see, this lymph node is actually a group of lymph nodes. So many lymph nodes will connect with one another. So the filtrations and the process will be performed several times from one lymph node to another lymph node to another lymph node, and finally will enter into this duct. This is the thoracic duct. The function of lymph nodes, first is to filter potentially harmful particles from the limbs. Okay, like maybe pathogens, okay, bacteria, viruses, parasites. Okay, and then it will be filtered, it will be destroyed by the cells in the lymph nodes. So mostly the one that will destroy these pathogens will be T cell. So T cell mostly will attack the viruses, macrophages. Okay, it will destroy mostly bacteria and bigger foreign molecules. The second one is for the immune surveillance. Okay, so monitor body fluid via macrophages in lymphocytes. So the body fluids that enter into the lymph node, which is the lymph, okay, is coming from our body fluid. So the lymphs that coming from the area that has problem, that it will be recognized by these macrophages and lymphocytes in this lymphatic vessel, right? Lymphatic system. So this is for surveillance, to survey, to recognize problem that may be happening in our body fluid. Along with the red bone marrow, so as I mentioned before in many books, the red bone marrow is also included as one of the lymphatic organs. The lymph nodes are center for lymphocyte production. Remember, red bone marrow is the place for blood formation. Okay? That include red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. Okay? If you remember again, there are 5 types of white blood cell: neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocyte, become macrophages, eosinophil, and basophil. Okay, there's lymphocyte. There are 2 types: T cell and B cell. You see this T cell macrophages over here is the main cell that's located in the lymph node. So that's the reason why in several books, the red bone marrow is included as one of the lymphatic organs. Lymphocytes attack various pathogens in the lymph nodes. The macrophages engulf and digest foreign substances, damaged cell, and debris. Okay, so this is the functions of the lymph nodes. Now, the lymphatic organ number 2, thymus. Thymus is located in mediastinum. So this is the same locations with the heart in our thoracic cavity. If this is the heart, this is thymus over here. This is soft bilobed gland. So there are two lobes. Okay, right and left lobe. Okay, divided into many lobules, and then lobule contains lymphocytes. Okay, that's derived from the red bone marrow. So the production of this lymphocyte is from red bone marrow, and some of them will be delivered to this thymus, mostly the T lymphocyte. So the T cell, okay, T cell produce in red bone marrow, okay, and then it will go to this thymus gland. In these thymus glands, the T cells is become mature. T cell maturation, it is helped by the hormones produced by the thymus gland. It's called the thymosin. Okay. If we compare between infants and adults, then infants, children actually have bigger lymph nodes, thymus, while adults have smaller. Older people, even it has smaller thymus, and even sometimes it is replaced by fat tissue. This is the reason why adults usually have less immune system compared to the children, to the younger generation. Okay, so this is the thymus. So thymus, this is the place for T cell maturation. Okay, that's the function of thymus. Spleen, so this is the third lymphatic organs. This is located on the left side of our abdominal cavity, so upper left part of our abdominal cavity, and this is considered as the largest lymphatic organs. This is very similar with the lymph node, contains venous blood. So if you see this over here, the arteries will enter into this organ, making the capillary, and then will be out as the vein. Yes, splenic artery and splenic vein. Inside this spleen, it consists of 2 areas. The white pulp, it's mostly contain or consists of many lymphocytes, and the red pulp, it has red blood cell lymphocyte, and also macrophages. If you see this one, then it has a function for protection against disease. So the function is filter the blood, like the lymph node, filter the lymph, break down the worn out red blood cell, and macrophages will engulf and destroy the foreign particles, including maybe bacteria. Lymphocyte will defend bodies against infection, including viruses. And so this is the function of the spleen. Now we're gonna summary these major organs of the lymphatic system. First one is lymph nodes. It is a group of chains along the path of larger lymphatic vessel. The function is to filter foreign particles and debris from the lymph. And remember again, lymph is coming from our body fluid. Interstitial fluid. Thymus, this is located in the mediastinum, and this is houses the lymphocytes, different type of T lymphocytes. So this is the place for T cell maturation. The spleen, it is the upper left portion of our abdominal cavity, and this is houses macrophages to remove bacteria or foreign particles, and also contains lymphocyte, T cell and B cell, and as I mentioned before, one more I'm gonna put over here, red bone marrow. It is located in the spongy bone. So there's an area in the spongy bones that called the red bone marrow, and the function is for blood cell formation, including the lymphocyte. There are two types of lymphocyte, T cell and B cell. T cell will move to the thymus gland and become mature over here. Mature in thymus. So T cell will go here, mature in the thymus gland, while the B cell will stay in the red bone marrow. So red bone marrow can also has a function to place for B cell maturation. And B cell is really important later for our immune system. I think that's all for this first part of the lymphatic system. I will see you again on the second part. Goodbye.